Hi everybody, we're in Independence today, and I just found out that there is another Splinter group that is headquartered here near the temple lot. So we're going to take a look at their headquarters and then walk up to the temple lot area. This is a nice location. There are some really well-maintained homes around here, but you have this group called the Church of Jesus Christ, otherwise known as Cutlerites. And the thing about them is that this is this denomination's only building. I wasn't able to do a whole lot of research on them, but according to Wikipedia, it seems that there's only 8 members of this church. Let's see, this says established 1830 by Joe Smith Jr., reorganized 1853 by Alpheus Cutler. And so that's why they're called the Cutlerites. You have the different denominations that have these nicknames, like a lot of them would call us the Brighamites because we followed Brigham Young. You have the Josephites. That would be the RLDS, which is now Community of Christ, because Joseph Smith III was their first prophet president after the martyrdom of Joseph Smith. And then you have the Hedrickites. That's the Church of Christ temple lot. They followed Granville Hedrick. And then you have the Cutlerites. I have no way of knowing if it's true that they only have 8 members, but they do have a website that they've shut down. It's an old website from, probably like the 90s or something like that. It's like that kind of style website. And when you go to Google Maps and you search this place, it says that it's permanently closed. So I don't know what that's about, but it looks like this property is being maintained. The grass is mowed. The building is in good shape. It seems like it's connected to this building, so I don't know if the leader of their church lives in that house. Oh, there's a cat. Well, and you can see that the parking lot right here, it looks like it was recently done. Looks new. But it's just so interesting because up until this point, I thought you only had 3 groups headquartered near the temple lot in Independence. So you have, of course, Church of Christ temple lot. They're the ones that own the temple lot. They're the Hedrickites. And then you have Community of Christ, otherwise known as the Josephites. And then you have Remnant Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. They don't have a nickname like that. They're actually a break off from the RLDS church. When you had all the big changes back in the 80s, you had all these branches that didn't agree with the way that the RLDS church was going, or Community of Christ. And so they broke off, and now they're a loose collection of what they call restoration branches. And Remnant Church seems to be the only one that's really become really organized with a prophet president and apostles, and they have a headquarters building, whereas the other restoration branches don't. They're just like what it sounds like. You'll have individual autonomous branches. So yeah, so Church of Christ Community of Christ, Remnant Church of Jesus Christ Latter-day Saints. And then, although we're not headquartered in Independence, we have the Independence Visitor Center, but now we have this other one, and it really isn't too far. I like this little area. It's nice and clean and pretty. But we're gonna go ahead and walk this way. We're going northbound. This is Cottage Avenue. Oh, I want to take a look at this. Oh, wow. Wow, look at that. It's like a hidden little jungle or rainforest. That's what it looks like. I don't know if you are getting a sense of that on the screen, but you know, I had no idea that this was here. And the thing is that I drive on this road all the time, not so much right here, but if you keep going that way west, it'll take you to Chrysler Avenue, and Chrysler heads north toward the Temple lot, and then it curves around and it becomes Lexington, but it's the same street. So as you're heading north on Chrysler toward the Temple lot, the entire time that we've been here, there's this bridge about where it starts to curve, and this bridge has been out of order ever since February. And there have been no signs of any effort to repair the bridge. There's just a bunch of traffic cones and barricades, but that's it. So I'm hoping that they fix it at some point. So anyway, the point of me saying that is, whenever we head toward the Temple lot, you see where that white car just pulled out? This is the detour that you have to take. And you know, I don't mind. I actually like this little area over here. And I like it even more now that we saw what was further south. Just a bunch of really well-maintained homes and properties. The thing is, I think I had heard about the Cutlerites before, a long time ago. I'm not sure how long ago, but I mean, I didn't really remember. I think the first time I heard about them, it did stand out to me that there were only like 8 members of the denomination. So again, this may not be the most reliable information, but what it said on the Wikipedia page is that you have Alpheus Cutler. He was a member of the Council of 50. I think it said that he was a captain. He was a captain in the Nauvoo Legion. And then it said that they do have some kind of endowment ceremony that I presume would be similar to the endowment from the Nauvoo period. I don't know if it's changed for them over time, or how much it resembles the original endowment when it was first introduced. So they do that, and that's different from these other splinter groups. My understanding is that Church of Christ does not do the endowment, and then I know that Community of Christ and the Restoration branches, which broke off, they don't do the endowment. Although with Remnant Church, I met with their prophet president. His name is Terry W. Patience, and he said that with their sanctuary, which is supposed to be kind of like a temple space, it's up on, like, I think it's the second floor, he expects some kind of he's expecting some kind of endowment to take place, but not really in the form of how we do the endowment. He said that they believe that at some point God's going to give them an endowment, and he wasn't really clear on what that meant, because he said he didn't really know what it meant, but some kind of empowerment or something that's going to come to the church. But anyway, we're talking about the Cutlerites. So they do have some kind of endowment ceremony. And by the way, if you are one of the 8 and you're watching this, I would love to interview you if you're up to it. But yeah, they don't believe in sealings, like eternal marriage, and they don't believe in plural marriage. And then I'm sure that there are plenty of other differences, but it's probably hard to find those out when they're not a very big church, and so there's probably not a whole lot of books and manuals that they've published. There's probably not much of a paper trail at all. Oh yeah, there's a Amtrak station here, just right over there. But now we're coming up on the Independence Visitor Center property, which really, it starts right here. I'm not really sure what these buildings are, but you can tell that they're owned by the church. I don't know if you can read that over there, but that sign says Facilities Management Office, and it's in the style of like a church sign. But anyway, our church owns this property over here. I've been researching it, and oh my gosh, I was just looking at this today. I want to say, oh no, yeah, I know. Okay, so the first presidency authorized the purchase of this land that the church owns now in 1903. That was 70 years exactly from the time that the Saints were expelled from Jackson County. So 70 years go by, and then the church purchases some of the temple land that would be part of the city of Zion, as well as the 24th temple complex. Then the next year, in 1904, that's when they actually purchased the land. So that's what we're looking at right now. I don't know if you saw my video from the 5th of July. On the 5th of July, the church hosts a fireworks show, and it gets really crowded, and it's really fun. Me and my family, we really enjoyed ourselves. But you just have tons of people with their lawn chairs, camping chairs, both over here in the field, but also over there in the auditorium parking lot. Wait, what does that say? Vendor Village Parking, next entrance. What? And then it says Santa Cal. Okay, I'm gonna wait for that car to pass. I don't know what that is. There must be some kind of event going on right now. Oh, Santa Caligon. So that's in reference to that is in reference to the 3 trails: the Santa Fe Trail, the California Trail, and the Oregon Trail. Vendor Village. Huh. I don't know, maybe there's something going on in downtown. If there is something, maybe I'll go over there and film it. Community of Christ, as you know, sold us the Kirtland Temple in 2024 because they're struggling with money. You have the younger generations that aren't really paying tithing because for them, tithing is not a commandment like it is for us. And it's interesting because, you know, after the schism, after Joseph Smith was martyred, the saints that followed Brigham Young, even they weren't very good at tithing. And it wasn't until President Lorenzo Snow in the early 1900s, well, and I think the late 1890s, it wasn't until that time where he really stressed the importance of paying tithing and how it's a commandment. It really wasn't until then that tithing became like what it is now in the church. And so that took place after the schism, but all these other splinter groups, they didn't have the benefit of a President Lorenzo Snow to receive that revelation. And now today our church is growing rapidly. There's plenty of money, as you can tell, with all the temples that have been built and that have been announced, especially under President Nelson. And President Lorenzo Snow talked about how one of the keys to returning to Jackson County is living the law of consecration and paying tithing. And so it's interesting because he was stressing that back in that time frame, and shortly afterward, that's when the church purchased this temple land. And we'll see how the future unfolds, but ultimately I think that's what's going to lead to us being able to purchase the temple lot. Now, I don't know how well Church of Christ is doing. I mean, it seems like they're doing better than the Cutlerites because they do have more than 8 members. And I'm not trying to make fun of the Cutlerites. I'm being serious. But they publish a magazine. Oh, I can't remember what it's called. I want to say it's called Zion's Advocate. But there's an issue, I think it was published in 2013, where it said that they had about 7,000 members in their church. So they're really small. Community of Christ, they only have about 250,000. Okay, let's go ahead and take a look at the sign right here. My legs are actually still hurting from yesterday when I went to Adamonte and walked all that way. But anyway, there you have an idea how close the Cutlerite headquarters is to the temple lot. It makes me wonder, are there any other groups that I missed that are headquartered here? So one more time, as far as being headquartered here, we've got Church of Christ temple lot, we have Community of Christ, and then down that way, now we know that there are the Cutlerites. So it's just interesting. All right, maybe we'll stop right here at the southeast corner of the temple. I guess that's going to be it for this one. Thanks for tagging along. I'll talk to you guys later.